Behold, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kakadash.
Any brothers want to open up, feel free.
Oh, give double honors.
Oh,
Boys, yeah, double honors to the apostles.
For the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And we out once again. You know, the New Year's, the ending is here. The last day of the year turn up, and we want to still like add fuel to the fire. You know, we want to make sure we doing our just due for Yahweh Shemel Shah. And we got great examples that have been leading the flock for Yahweh Shemel Shah, which is our apostles, from Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Rakar, Apostle Ramlam, and all the elders that's from Connecticut.
Elder bishops, yeah.
Elder bishops,
Yeah.
and they lead. They've been holding the baton, and they passed the baton to us, and we've been pushing it mightily for Yahweh Shemel Shah. So Salakia, so anybody want to come out with a verse?
Yeah, I got it. This is gonna be Luke 21 and 27, and then it says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Yeah, so after all the prophecies are fulfilled, you know, for example, like the MOTB, Jacob's trouble, you know, all hell breaking loose. You know, Yahushua is gonna have to get his elect, you know. That's when Yahushua will come back. The Lord will send back, the Lord Yahweh will send back Yahushua on the earth, the Redeemer's elect, and to as well, you know, gain what the scriptures speak about, the many crowns the Lord have upon his head. That's him conquering all the other nations. So it says, verse 28, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Yeah, that's why, you know, we be seeing signs in the heavens. We be seeing, you know, the chariots, you know. But it says, I believe 2022 has been basically like a whole bunch of so-called UFO sightings, you know. Esau caused them so-called the chariots, you know, UFOs, unidentified flying objects, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, which, hey, at the end of the day, Esau knows, you know, those are the chariots of the Lord. That's why, you know, he sent down, well, you know, he sent his fighter jets after them, you know, try to take them down, try to shoot them down with missiles, but what, you know, it's that one video where, you know, the missile hit the chariot and then it completely dissolved.
Yeah.
Like the missile dissolved, like the chariot was still, it didn't even move.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, and you know Esau.
They can't even keep up with them.
Yeah, and another thing is, yeah, that's a good point too. You know, the chariot went so fast that, you know, the fighter jet got completely smoked, and it's another story. Basically, 2 fighter jets went after a chariot, and then those 2 fighter jets never came back. You know, so
Yeah,
that shows you.
yeah, you know Esau, he's gonna try to do whatever he can to, you know, combat against the Most High, which, you know, there's nothing he can do. All right, and it's already written, all right, in the scriptures that, you know, even though Esau, he's gonna try that Space Force, you know, we got the power of the sword and everything, all right, he's not gonna overcome the power behind Hashem Yahushua. So,
Who's got it right now? Who's got a precept? You got a precept? Okay.
Yeah. 2 Ezra 13, verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with thousands of heavens.
I mean, it's not.
That's Yahweh Shah. All right, read again, brother.
Verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with thousands of heaven.
Yeah, it tells you about in the book of Jude that the Lord is going to come with 10,000 of his saints. All right, so that's Yahweh Shah that he's talking about here, who he beheld, who he saw. All right?
And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
Yeah, everything, because he created everything, so everything that saw him, it feared him. And you're going to learn the fear of Yahweh Shemel Shah when he come back, like he tells you in Revelation chapter 1, where he said, everybody, all kindreds wailed at his appearance. You're going to shit and piss on yourself and drop dead.
Verse 4, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire.
Yeah, come brother, you have to take it back over. Salakia.
Yeah, so continuing on, it says Luke 21:29, it says, and he spake to them a parable. Yeah, this Yahushua says, behold, the fig tree and all the trees, when they Now shoot forth, ye see, and know of yourselves that summer is now nigh at hand. So like, verse 31, so likewise ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of the Most High is at hand. Yeah, because all the prophecies are in the book. It's literally, it's literally playing before our eyes. Well, you know, there's literally prophecies are about to happen, you know, that's right around the corner. For example, Jacob's trouble. You know, you got the MOTB. Hey, we're already seeing, you know, Esau, you know, making his way, you know, paving his way, you know, to put down the MOTB, you know. It says, verse 32, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Yeah, we're currently in that generation, man. You know, when all shit's about to, you know, break loose.
Yep.
You know, when Yahushua's return.
Yeah, and just to back you up, I got the Matthew 24, verse 6, and it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. So yeah, you know, it's just the beginning. You got, you know, rumors of war, all right, World War III, all right, the pestilence, all right, coming in with the jab or whatnot, all right. You know, these different prophecies are coming to pass, but it's not the end yet. This is the beginning of the end, all right, because what has to happen, all right, that charagma, all right, it's got to come to pass, man.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you know, there's gonna have to be, you know, an hour of temptation, you know. After that MOTB is implemented.
If I may say, I'm sorry. If I may say, the whole world the whole planet, which is the Uncommittee, got to experience that hour temptation. Because everyone got to be tried.
Yep.
Right. And in a lot of aspects, that prophecy is being fulfilled, and not in its totality, but it's been introduced already to the world. That technology has been out there, and in certain countries, they have enacted it to a certain degree. We're just waiting for the full mandation worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
To take place, but there are elements of that prophecy that are coming into effect.
Yep. And that's really when the testing of our faith is really going to be in full scale. You know, right now we can kind of see it because we're talking about it, but when that shit really starts getting turned up, that's when, you know, our faith will really be tested. You know, and you know, it's going to be seen whether or not we're the, you know, the men of the Lord or not. You know.
Great precept.
Yeah, I got one after you then.
It says, Revelation 3 verse 9, no slacking, Revelation 3 verse 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And because we picked up that cross and we follow behind Yahushua, he's going to keep us from the hour of temptation so that we won't be destroyed. So by doing this work, you know, going out there in the highways and byways and pushing this truth, you know, we picking up the cross and we follow the Yahushua, and that's going to be a hedge of protection on us when the hour of temptation comes.
Right. The hour of temptation, all right, is synonymous with Jacob's trouble. Okay, which is where the entirety of this system is going to be dependent on whether or not you got that chick. Okay, because anybody that doesn't have the C hit, okay, which is the MOTB, all right, if you're keeping up with the lessons, you know what those acronyms are. Okay, you know what those key words are that we're using. Okay, so you know, offset the algorithm. You understand that the entire system is going to be based upon and whether or not you're participating within said society if you have that mark. Okay, the C hit. Okay, that's a social credit system that they're trying to put into place, which we have examples and see examples where that already exists. All right, and they implemented certain aspects of it during this whole scandemic, if you will, with the QR codes, right? You had to be validated, verified, if you will, into being able to be into certain venues, certain clubs, certain restaurants, certain aspects of society. You were basically, if you didn't have a negative result, or if you weren't able to authenticate whether or not you had one of however many doses they want you to take, then you were rejected at certain locations. You were not permitted access to certain places. All right, which is all a forerunner for what they want to do with the sea hit.
Yep. Yeah, and, you know, what people don't understand is, you know, with the jab and whatnot, you know, it's not nearly as extreme as what's going gonna come to pass.
Right.
All right, with that with the Sharab.
Right.
Yeah, man, because with the Karagma, you saw, you know, it's going to be a point where, you know, because, you know, some people know how to make, you know, the way around, you know, like, some people have their own land.
Like, can I say something real quick, brother? The same thing that they introduced this idea already that if you are an anti-VAXer, you were responsible for death. You were considered a murderer.
Yep.
So they've already got the narrative that if you don't comply with their system and their way, then you are essentially these different things that they're saying in the media, you know? So you got to take that into account, that they've already got that stigma out there that if you are non-compliant, then you are part of the problem. You're part of the problem. You are to be outcasted. You're to be ostracized. Okay? When you're ostracized, it means you are actually set from society. You're set apart from society for participating in said thing. So you know that we're going to be considered those outcasts, and anybody that's non-compliant is going to be considered an outcast or a troublemaker or a murderer or whatever other stigma that they want to put and label people who are not participating in their agenda. I just want to make sure that's fully established because we already seen those elements put into effect. Everybody was treated as a second-class citizen. If you didn't want to do that, you got a label of anti-you-know-what on you. So you're already stigmatized. Because you believe in natural immunity, you believe in holistic methods, you believe in the scriptures, now you are all of a sudden deemed a threat, a problem, an issue. This is how they're going to come against the Israelites, you know, especially those who teach the truth. So I didn't mean to break your point, but in the spirit, you know? Just want to establish that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you have to continue on. Basically, like the brother going into, you know, the Karagma is going to be, you know, a whole extreme.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's going to be a point where, you know, because, a lot of people know that taking the MOTB, that, you know, that's gonna, you're gonna be in that second death. You know, so what, Esau is gonna have to put, you know, certain measures like, you know, the guillotine, you know, and that's gonna tempt, you know, that's gonna be, you know, something to, basically, you know, a higher temptation, you know, to make people get that Karagma.
FEMA camps.
Like when people don't have access to the different medications that they're dependent on, they don't have access to grocery stores. People are going to be lining themselves up to take that against their own. Do you understand that a lot of people didn't want to get a first or second dose or a booster, but their job gave them ultimatums? You either do this or you leave. That's your choice. And what did people do out of pressure? They took it. And this is what we're talking about. This is why getting this knowledge is important now, so you don't fall to these pressures. The brother mentioned it. One of y'all said it, but it's the spirit. That's that hour of temptation. That's that hour of temptation. Because you're going to be subject to, do I take this, okay, which is all a false sense of security, or do I trust in my power to sustain me in these times? When everything looks bleak, grim, and gray, so to speak, okay? You know, Salaki for being overly poetic. It's just when things seemingly are at a standstill and you have no other options, what are you going to do? See, the elect, their mind's already made up. Brother read it that we're going to strive onto the truth, onto the death, right? So that's our mindset. We're willing to die for this thing as opposed to submit ourselves to the will of the enemy. Because there's integrity and a reward set for those who have that kind of faith. And that's the type of mindset that the elect, the hopeful elect, are going to actually have.
Did you have more on that?
Yeah, continue on. It says Luke 21:33, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. So everything the Lord has said that will come, you know, every prophecy the Lord said that, you know, that's bound to happen, hey, it's gonna come. Ain't nothing no one can do to prevent it from happening. It says, verse 34, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares. Yeah, because, you know, and that's what the Spirit, you know, a lot of these, these wicked Israelite camps are, you know, pushing out. You know, they're pushing out that basically, what's the Bacchus spirit, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, you know, they're pushing out, you know, basically, you know, live it up. You know, the kingdom is going to be right here.
Yeah.
You know, like, for example,
Isolate yourself, make an Israelite community or whatever they were saying.
Yeah, a lot of these Israelite groups, they got a bunch of gimmicks, you know, and they're like all more about inclusiveness than they are about the hopeful elect, which is, you know, essentially exclusive. The Lord chose specific spirits to be withdrawn from this society to honor Him, worship Him, and represent Him a particular way. Not all Israelite groups are doing that. You know, you can clearly see that. Some of these groups that y'all mentioned advocated that their congregation actually take that damn VAXX.
Yep.
They didn't warn against it. They'll take it.
Yep.
That's what they said. That's not what we said.
Yep.
I remember there was a Slacker brother, you can make a point after I say this. We had an Israelite woman come up to the camp. You know, I don't know if she was all together there, but I had asked her about her, you know, status, and she said, yeah, I got one. I said, well, don't get another one. You gotta cleanse that, you know, detoxify the body of those metals and stuff that's being injected into you. It's all experimental, you know, as we've been saying, which it is. It was only authorized to be used under emergency situations. It wasn't actually approved. There's no long-term studies done on it. Okay, go ahead. You're gonna say something.
Yeah, because that's what they believe. They actually tell you right out too, you only live once.
Yeah.
So they're trying to establish themselves out here, even though the scripture
Right.
tells you this is not our place of rest.
Right. Problem, reaction, solution. Where there is no need, they create one. You know, all under deceptive means. It's all manipulation. You know, that's why scriptures tell you never trust thine enemy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why those scriptures are written. You see any of those camps, okay, some of them, but not all, but particularly Great Millstone. Beginning with our apostles and others on down, they were warning to the fullest extent because we err on the side of caution. There's a sense of urgency that comes with this truth. Right? There's so many things happening. You have to warn the people. We're in the spirit of warning Israel. Search things out, right? The prudent man looketh well into his going, right? So we urge in Israel to check things out. Don't take things for face value. You got to go and search these things, man. You know? You got to filter these things.
To read again, it says, Luke 21:34, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. Yeah, and you know the point is, like, a lot of people aren't really preparing themselves for, you know, when these things, you know, start to pop up. You know, again, you know, these a lot of, you know, Israelites are in that spirit of, you know, trying to live it up, and, you know, basically treating this kingdom like it's their kingdom, like, you know, it's the next come up. They say they're waiting for Yahushua, but really, man, by actions, it's
Word.
yeah, and word, what they say, you know, it doesn't match up, you know.
Yeah, not newer than a word.
Yeah. So it says, verse 35, for as a snare shall it come up on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. 36, watch ye therefore and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. Yeah, and pray, you know, you got to pray that you're worthy, you know, to escape these things, but you also got to show forth to Yahweh Shai, because what, you know, you got to keep his commandments. You got to do what he said to do. You know, you can't just say, oh, you know, I'm waiting for the day of the Lord, but you're not, you know, preparing yourself, you know, for, you know, when all things, you know, break loose, all hell breaks loose, and, you know, when Yahweh Shai comes back. Because what, Yahweh Shai is looking for the blameless. You know, Yahweh Shai, you're looking for the blameless, you know, the ones who are basically without guile. You're not looking for, you know, fucking unclean ass niggas, you know, being up in the chariots.
Well, you just read surf fighting and the cares of this life. Now that the word goes back to the Greek, all right, it says karpale, which means the giddiness and headache caused by drinking wine to excess. So it's excessive drinking, partying. You know, America got a big party spirit.
Especially,
Come again?
especially today.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah, it's a form of, and that's the thing, like, people live for these particular so-called days that they consider holidays, you know, they're really wicked days, but they're in that spirit of mirth and joy and over excess, especially in terms of drinking, right?
Yeah.
You know, this whole weekend for them is gonna be about partying, drinking, committing all types of form of banqueting, right, forms of wickedness.
Right.
They're not concerned with the time of the end at all. They're concerned with how they can fill themselves up and feed the flesh and all
Right,
that.
reveling in the freaking
Yeah,
the pleasures of the life.
So just like the brother said, you know, the Lord ain't looking for that type of individual. The Lord is looking for those who are actively seeking Him out and more concerned with the time of the end and making urgency and getting themselves right for when the Lord comes back. Because we're looking to be acceptable in the sight of the Lord. Because the Lord is the one weighing our hearts and measuring our spirits, you know? So we doing our best to keep ourselves clean, you know? And we have a particular mindset. So when we do drink, right? Brothers drink, there's nothing wrong with that. But what spirit is behind when we get together and when we drink? What are we sipping to? We sipping to the end of this world, right? We drinking to the coming and ushering into the kingdom of heaven. Our mindset is 2 Peter the 3rd chapter. Okay, we making haste to the coming of the day of the Lord. So when we come together, that's how we think. That's our spirit and intent behind our get-togethers. You know what I'm saying? So
I got a quick one. Just
come.
this is Ecclesiastes 7 verse 2. It says, "It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart." So yeah, you know, we in the house of mourning. You know, we're not out trying to go out and party and live it up. What is it to live it up, man? We in slavery, man. We in our punishment from Yahweh Shai, man. You know, we gotta we gotta be serious. You know, we gotta go after the Lord. It's not the time to be partying and doing all that. You know, this ain't even our kingdom, man.
Right.
So
If I may add on to that, when somebody loses a so-called loved one in the world, the first thing that they'll say is, "You just never know when your time is up. Life is short." Those are the things that come to mind. So in that spirit, they start considering life. They start considering their ways. They start considering these things. But you know, for the people in the world, it don't last very long. Give it a couple days, a week, they're right back to the same old behaviors. So us being in the house in the morning really represents us considering our ways and how it affects what we do and how the Lord may perceive us. You know,
It all goes back to, having the fear of the Lord.
having fear of
And
the Lord,
knowing the Lord's judgment.
knowing the Lord's
And
judgment.
knowing when the Lord's judgment is gonna come.
Right. You see something happen to somebody, it's like, damn, I want that to happen to me. You know, Lord save me and make sure I do the right thing. Hold on, Salaki.
it's a couple more.
Come on, let that brother finish.
It's verse 3. It says, "Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth." So yeah, there you go. Just pretty much the same thing we're talking about. We in the house of mourning. We're not out trying to drink and party and do all that. We're not trying to get like these other camps put posters like, music video shoot, everybody wear all
Wrestling
black.
matches.
Wrestling matches, having strippers at the Passover. That's totally off, man. First of all, that's off. And it's not even the time to do none of that stuff, man. We in this captivity. So
If I may say,
Yes, sir.
because that's why we have these garments on, because this is representing a sackcloth. We are in mourning, because we need Yahweh Shai to get us out of this filthy place. We're not saved yet. We're not out of hell, man. And hell's a condition, man. And this condition is getting. If we don't get this over with, it's getting worse and worse, man.
Yeah.
They're not letting up on that Flowing Nightingale juice, that jabby jabs. everybody, that's why next year is gonna be worse, because now they saying that they're bringing out those cards again.
Yeah, yeah, right. They're calling it a tridemic, no?
Mm-hmm.
Where you got this season of flu, the vid, and then whatever else is going on. You know, because like the apostle of the Torah said, they're going to reinvigorate this thing. You know, for lack of a better word, they're reinvigorating it to continue to push those narratives, right? Everything all under the guise of so-called health, safety, you know, and wellness, you know, amongst other things, because, you know, it's all culminating into an economic collapse. It's all culminating into these things, you know. They already consider us a risk now, so if they decide to collapse this, anybody that doesn't comply is going to be considered a safety risk, because they're going to use that as a form of compliance as well as authentication. So you got to consider that the angles that the enemy's going to come with, right? But he's definitely keeping that spirit of this thing going, so he can use it. You know, as Esau once said, was it Robert Manuel? I forget exactly who said it, but he said something along the lines of not letting a good crisis go to waste.
Mm-hmm.
Brother can correct me on exactly who said it, but one of them you might have said that. You know, when he was being interviewed.
Yeah, and then we're already seeing articles. I mean, what, just 2 weeks ago? You know, the anti-Krog murder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the article came out saying, oh, you know, these guys are anti, you know what, small hat. You know, so hey,
Yeah, that's crazy, yo.
Yes.
That's a crazy angle. Like you reaching. I read that article. You reaching for anything to try to basically destroy, you know,
yeah,
the truth.
and
you know?
that's what Esau does. You know, he loves to do damage control. He loves to mock, like, oh yeah, you guys say blah blah blah.
And then like none of it actually even proved that it was anti-ish, you know.
Yeah.
Because all it said was basically it's good for technology and we should follow it because you know it's suppressive technology, but it didn't have anything about being anti-ish or anything like that, man. That article was madness.
Yeah, and then Esau loves to do, like I said, you know, damage control. Like, oh yeah, you know, these guys say this is the MOTB. You know what, lunatics. Like that's how this stuff was gonna come, man. You know, the mocking and to basically make people submit to his agenda.
By the way, it was Ron Emanuel, and actually, upon looking it up, he reprised that quote during the whole scandemic. He said the very same thing when he was being asked about the response to the virus, the so-called virus. He actually said the same thing. He was being quoted in March of 2020 as saying, never allow a crisis to go to waste. So that's their mentality, you know? So they're going to use everything that they have at their disposal for destroying people's minds, manipulating them or manipulating them to put them under total control, you know? And one scripture I did want to get out, Baba Kasha, if I may, you know, brothers are holding all types of things, is Ezekiel, the 9th chapter. I just want to read this real quick. There's a couple of them, but I just wanted to go to this real quick because it hits the point. You know, about the spirit that we're in. You know, so this is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. It says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry, for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So if a brother wants to, you know, elaborate, by all means.
Yeah, Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. And that mark is Tawah, the mark of exemption, for sign crime, for going out there in the highways and the byways, you know, speaking out against injustices, against the whole world, and our people.
Right. That's that spirit of mourning, right? The house of mourning, right? That's the spirit that we're in. Sighing and crying for all the abominations that be done in the midst of it, all the evil that's being worked out here.
God. And then, yeah, to back that up, this Luke 6:20, it says, and he lifted up his eyes on the disciples and said, blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of the Most High. Yeah, so the brothers, and the poor is us brothers, man. You know, us brothers, you know, catching hell, you know, in this thing. Or, you know, basically, the elect of the nation of Israel is the poor. But, you know, we're the hopeful elect.
Yep.
So it says, verse 21, blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. Yeah, so the ones who are hungry now, the ones who are weeping now, you know, because what we're crying to Yahweh Shah to get us out of this hellhole, you know. What it says basically in famine thou shalt laugh, and in destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. So you know, while everyone else is crying, you know, and when all hell breaks loose, you know, Jacob's trouble, you know, we're gonna be the ones laughing. So it says, verse 22, blessed are ye, or I'm gonna skip down to verse 20. Verse 25, it says, woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. Yeah, and that's what's coming, you know, because what Jake, like I was getting out, you know, Jake is basically overcharging themselves, you know, with fighting, you know, basically just living that spirit, of wine, you know. So what because what, you know, Jake does that to escape, you know, he wants to escape that. Basically, all hell is about to break loose. Because, I mean, a lot of Jakes knows it, but, you know, they like, you know, they just want to escape, you know, from that mindset, you know, keep on enjoying their life that they have now.
Yeah.
And that's the penalty for playing around, destruction.
Yeah.
Playing around, you know, trying to bear up arms, all right, trying to, you know, trying to be carnal. You know, Jake, you know, 2/3 of Israel, they wanna do, you know, anything else. But, you know, go towards it. How about Simeon-affliction?
Yeah, they want to go to the broad gate, that leads to destruction, instead of, you know, going to the straight gate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, because what? Straight means S-T-R-A-I-T. It means narrow, you know. So that narrow gate, basically, you know, you have to live a certain way, you know, in order to fully make it through, you know, that narrow gate. That broad gate, you know, you can live almost basically any way you want to, you know, to enter in that broad gate. But what, you know, a lot of Jake, man, you know, wants to go through that broad gate and thinks that, you know, he can make another pathway to the kingdom of heaven. But you can't do that. You know, you gotta
get in.
Yeah, you know, you gotta go through that narrow gate. You know, you gotta go through that purification.
Yeah, Jake also, he lacks discipline.
I got that precept for you, brother.
Oh, come.
I
Yeah, you got
for
it.
you. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. Enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. So that's clear right there. The brother just broke it down about the word straight. It's a task of difficulty. It's a narrow path. And you got to enter this path one at a time, because the Lord still wants us one at a time. And the elder brother Tabak brought out earlier about our judgment. Everybody's going to get judged, good and the bad. So you're going to come in front of the podium or wherever the throne or Yahweh Shah, and he's going to tell you what you did wrong. Or what you did good. Salakia. All right? So you got to enter this at, what it said, much tribulation to enter the kingdom, much bloodshed, much anguish, much sorrow. Babies are going to be dying. People are going to have to eat their own babies. It's a lot of stuff that's going to happen that people's not going to enter the kingdom, and the ones that's going to be that's going to stand so stiffly, it's going to enter into the kingdom. All right. It says, "Enter ye at the straight gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate. Straight is the gate. That is the gate you got to enter into. That's the one. That's the one. It tells you also in Second Ezra that there's two sides. There's one side of fire, one side of water, and you can't swivel to either side because you're gonna either drown or you're gonna get burnt up. You gotta stay right on that narrow path, and it's for one person at a time.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry.
Nope, you good?
And it's gonna be glorious. You know what's happening right now? It's cleansness. You know.
It was already predetermined that 2/3 of Israel will be cut off and die.
Okay. That's right. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way, narrow, which leadeth unto life. And few there be that find it. Few. The chosen, the proud, not the proud, not the humble slave, not the proud. But the humble, that's us. You know?
It's that 1/3 too.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring something out real quick. Real quick. I'm not even gonna say anything, I'm just gonna read. For the, brothers know me, man, once I get going, I get going. For the definition of straight, just out of the dictionary, because I'm gonna link it up with a precept. So the definition The dictionary for the word straight means following a direct or correct method or approach.
Correct method.
Right. Now, the reason why I read that is because, like the brother said, there's only one way to go. Now, most people are not going to follow that correct way to go. Right? See, we are already exposed to the suffering. And we realize that it's for our betterment. We need a low and contrite spirit because we're after and trying to achieve something much greater than what we see in this kingdom. The rest of the world is not. The rest of the world is fighting for the lives that they have here. Whether knowingly or unknowingly, they're doing so to no avail. We realize that this place is coming to an end. So whatever y'all got, you can keep because we're looking for much greater than what is here, which is the kingdom of heaven, right? So this is what Yahushua said. Yahushua said, John chapter 14. Let's see if I can get this real quick. Slovakia. Let me see if I can get this real quick. I just had it. This is the book of John, chapter 14. Oop, there it is right there. Hold on. Okay, Khan. Yeah, this is John 14:6. It says, Yahushua saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. Now, go ahead, brother. No,
Because he's the straight gate.
He's the straight gate.
He's
Exactly.
the door. I mean, your mind's the door, and he's come to sup with you.
Right.
So that's the way in.
Right. And remember, we're not, the servant isn't above his Lord. There you go. If he suffered, we're going to suffer. Right? We have to suffer. We have to go through certain things, but it's all conditioning to help strengthen us for the battle that is to come. Like we're going into camp, the hour of temptation, Jacob's trouble, all of these things are going to be at play, and we're going to have to make those decisions. We're going to have to make those hard decisions in the spirit. But the Lord going to, be with us the entirety of the way, because he's going to sustain his hopeful elect. Right? We're going to be putting our trust and hope and faith in him. He's not going to let us fail. And we have plenty of examples when we go into the scriptures to see that when you put your hope and trust in him, he comes through. Okay, he holds his word higher than himself, so there's no reason to believe otherwise. The rest of the world don't got that kind of faith. That's why they're relying on the things that they can see. That's why they're hell-bent on trying to hold on to the lies that they've, had. They're fighting tooth and nail to sustain themselves in this society that is totally wicked and decrepit and falling apart ever before them.
That corruptible crown.
Right. Con, there you go, brother. So that's all I want to say.
I got one. I'm sorry. I got one. That kick.
So when we talk about the straight gate, we're talking about following after Yahushua. Yahushua suffered, we're going to have to suffer. He went through a position of difficulty, we will have to go through a position of difficulty. And it's all unique because what may befall one man may not befall another, but we're all required to keep our integrity nonetheless.
That's right.
No matter what it is.
That's it.
So.
It said, Yahushua said right here, he said, John chapter 10, verse 9, I am the door. By me, if any man enter, Salakia. Salakia, I done lost it, touching the damn screen. Alright. Yes, sir, Salakia.
1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. Know ye not that they which run in the race run all, but one receiveth the prize, so run that they may attain. Verse 25. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain the corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. When we following behind Yahushua, we doing it to attain that incorruptible crown. And for instance, in the world, when you see your favorite basketball player dunk, you want to emulate the way he dunked and do it yourself to attain the corruptible crown. But we doing it to obtain the incorruptible crown, which is eternal, everlasting life, the immortal bodies, kingdom.
That's right. That's right.
Ultimately, what you're doing, you're following the ways of your master, which is the Lord.
That's right.
Right? Which, the brother said, when Yahushua said, I am the door, he's going into, he's being a portal. He's a gateway. All right? You know that, of course.
Right. He's He's the source from which we're able to access the Father again.
Yeah, there's one mediator between the Most High and men, that man, Yahushua, Mashiach.
Yeah.
You know, so there's no other way but through Yahushua. You know, and obviously our defilement is covered by Yahushua, his blood and salt. You know, so they said there's no other way.
Correct.
God, I have a precept after y'all already.
Salakia. I know I found another verse. I'm Salakia. I lost that verse.
Yeah.
But I'm Salakia. It says Matthew chapter 11, verse 27. All things are delivered unto, this is Yahushua saying it. All things are delivered unto me of my Father.
Right.
And no man knoweth the Son but the Father. Neither knoweth any man the Father save the Son. And he to whomsoever the Son will reveal him. See, the Lord is going to reveal Yahushua to you, and Yahushua is it's the mediator for you. So what's happening right now? The Lord is Yahushua is reintroducing you back to Yahweh. So what you supposed to do? You're supposed to be humble to the King, and a lot of you individuals are not humble to Yahushua. That's what this is about, because Yahushua, his name is in his name. He is the deliverer. He's the savior.
That's right.
So who the hell gonna save you from Esau?
That's right.
Right? So and I follow the verse.
Okay, so read that. Who got precepts? Right here. Okay, so we gonna come to you, Amathba, you brother, you, and then you got some?
Yeah, I got
Oh, okay. So you and then you call. Just so we'll come in succession.
It says, I found the verse, but it says,
go ahead.
John chapter 10, verse 9. I am the door, and by me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved.
Right.
So, okay, brother. Go ahead, you could, okay. And shall go in and out and find pasture. So that's the point, because you're gonna be saved.
Yeah.
If you by Yahushua. Yahweh ain't coming down here. He already got the one he's going to represent that's representing him. That's why we say Yahweh Bahashem in the name of Yahushua. So he's sending back Yahushua with the numerous angels though, to you know what he's going to do with vengeance. That was the point. Salaki.
God. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, we here at Great Millstone, we express the importance of needing a savior. We can't save ourselves, not going to be of our own might, our own strength. It's only in Yahushua that we have that hope of salvation. So that's the message that we push. You know, you all trying to get brownie points, you got to make sure that you're doing it to please the Most High. Not no man, not no entity or anything else. Yahushua, you got to make sure that you walk in the straight and narrow, doing what he considers acceptable so that where we can get out of here. You know, so we push that here, man.
That's
right. You know, the importance of a savior. You know, you got other groups that are being very careless, very reckless. They don't teach the name. They don't teach, fundamentals, principles, character. Our apostles taught us all of that. You know, so we lead them by a proper example. You know. Go ahead, Mathba.
God, Psalms 113. Just read on this topic. 1. Praise ye the Lord Yahweh. Praise, O ye servants of Yahweh. Praise the name of Yahweh. Blessed be the name of Yahweh from this time forth and forevermore. From the rising of the sun unto the going down of the same, the Lord's name, Yahweh's name, is to be praised. The Lord Yahweh is high above all nations, and his glory above the heavens. Who is like unto Yahweh our power, who dwelleth on high, who humbleth himself to behold the things that are in heaven and in earth, in which Yahweh Shemashai is beholding us. You know, for us to even be, like you say, us being as low as what we are, mortals and such, and you have the creator of all heaven and earth actually dwelling and supping with us and giving us this knowledge, giving us rest, being on the pasture, guiding us with the still waters, being able to, drink of this living water, this knowledge and such. That's a beautiful thing, because look at the amount of people that actually exist, but the Lord bringing and drawing you into this truth, okay, and bringing out, and by the way of remembrance, stirring up your pure minds, and it's leading you to what? Call upon his name for the deliverance and the salvation. You know, that took you out of, you know, the gross darkness of the world, and have you now shining bright. Okay, going on, it says, who is like unto the Lord Yahweh, Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh our power, who dwelleth on high, who humbleth himself to behold all things that are in heaven and earth. He raiseth up the poor of the dust, which we are the poor, right? The Lord took us out of the dust, being out of the confusion.
Yeah.
Okay? That's in the earth, okay? Especially in Babylon.
Yeah, you look at an average Jake, they're confused. Ask them some simple, basic questions regarding the scriptures, they have no idea.
Right.
For the most part. And even the ones that may answer correctly, they're not really tapped in like they should be, man. Because that, and then it all goes back to the point where there's all an elect. There's an elect man. The Lord definitely made a distinction between Israel right now. You know, the Lord is really not dealing with all Israel. Just the hopeful elect. Go ahead.
It says, he raises the poor of the dust and lifteth the needy out of the dunghill. You know?
Damn.
Yeah. And then, so like, and then the scriptures speak about, you know, the elect singing a song, you know, but the song has to be sang exactly how it needs to be sang.
Right.
You know? So basically, you know, like brother was saying, you know, Jake got a little bit of the truth, but hey, you need really sing that whole song, you know, 100% truth.
Yeah. You need to be in key.
Yeah.
You need to be in unison.
Pitch, like lyrics,
Right.
you know,
It gotta be
pace, tempo.
Right.
Synchronization is a very important thing because us as a body, in order for us to move, you know, we can't be moving against each other. We gotta work together.
Right.
The unison or togetherness or yechadwa in the Hebrew. All right.
Yeah.
We gotta be in confederacy. That's how the body works. Okay.
Come on.
Hey.
That was it on that, brother?
Yeah. One other precept.
Okay.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 19. It says, the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is the doctrine of life.
There's no S at the end of that, right, buddy?
Nope.
All right, just wanna make sure.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality.
And Yahweh Shai is the immortality. He's the one. He's the tree of life.
Yep, that's right.
Because everything we read, everything was given to him by Yahweh. That's right.
He's the word.
He's the
Right.
one. Woo.
John 1:1.
That's right. All right.
Yeah.
I got one more precept, Slaggy.
Hold on. Let's.
I'm meaning. All right, ready, buddy?
Yeah, let's see what he got.
I got something in
We'll come right back to you, Jake.
Okay, no problem.
James 4 and 13.
Okay.
You know, not only for tonight, since it being the new year according to Esau coming in, but a lot of people they go out, you know, and they don't ask Lord, you know, for help and protection and stuff like that.
There you go.
But you know, the scripture tells us in James 4 and 13, it says, "Go to now that he say, today or tomorrow, we will go into such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gain. Whereas he know not what he shall be on the morrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away.
But you're not promised tomorrow.
For
You're not
that,
promised.
27.
for that he ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they don't do that. Even in general, just go to the store, they just jump in the car and go. And this is why they would get an accident, they would never make it back home. And on the news, you would hear their family said, well, this or that person, they said they was coming right back.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They just went out, you know, to do this and they'll be right back and they never made it back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, us as believers, you know, we have to send them prayers even before we go in a store because a lot of spirits are in these stores.
Yeah.
You know, you go in a Wawa Dunkin' Donuts, a lot of spirits is there just to, you know, to provoke a spirit, you know what I'm saying? So that's why, you know, you just gotta say these prayers up, you know what I mean, that it most high covers, you know, going on to come
Yeah.
in.
And many a times when you want to go your own way, that means you suffering from pride. So because you're suffering from pride, you want to go your own way, you don't want to submit to nothing, you don't want to submit to the Lord and just do your own thing. And they say, in the latter times, many shall perish on the earth because they walked in great pride.
Right. Like you know, and I'll even extend that type of spirit onto us. Because I'm going to say this. You might say the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. You might say additional prayers throughout your day. But you might go to step out your car and the Spirit tell you, put up a quick prayer. See, and you might be like, well, you know, you kind of battle with that thought. Well, I already put up a prayer. I think I could. No, put up that prayer. Because you don't know in that second, the Lord might be sending an angel based upon you heeding the Spirit. Spirit always be talking to us. You can't ignore that. If the Lord's put in your mind, put up a quick prayer right now. You heed that Spirit, you put up a quick prayer. Because how can it hurt you?
Quench not the Spirit.
You quench not the Spirit. Right? And to whoever it may apply. Because, you know, some brothers might be like, I said my prayer. I'm good. I'm cut. If the Spirit put on you, pray in that moment. Because you don't know what might happen. Things happen in terms of seconds. Right? Just like when you and I were on the phone.
Oh, that was seconds.
You know what I'm saying? And we basically were in, you know, spiritual communication in prayer.
Yeah.
So that's how we got to move. You got to heed the Spirit.
Yeah. Gotta heed the Spirit.
You got to heed the Spirit. So when it comes upon you to pray, pray. Don't just say to yourself, well, I'm good for the day. I said this prayer, I said that prayer. No, because the scriptures tell you pray without ceasing.
Always in prayer.
Because you got some brothers, and I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying in the spirit, some brothers ain't praying enough. It's not enough. You don't understand. Like, just because you send a series of prayers out, you have to always be praying, man. You know what I mean? Pray when you go to bed. Pray when you wake up. Pray when you get in the car. Pray when you're in the car. Pray when you leave the car. Pray when you go into this spot. Just, it's quick prayer, man. Yahweh Shemiah Shai, Bashmer Kadash, Babu Kusha, Satharia. Sathar, protect. Yeah, me, protect me. The water from Yadamun. Bam. You got that covered. Go ahead, you got something.
I probably got the shortest precept here.
What is it?
This is 1 Thessalonians 5:17. It says, pray without ceasing.
Ooh, always in prayer.
That's it. That's it, man.
I'm always in prayer.
Come on. And that's just to back up what the brother was saying, you know? Because we need a hedge of protection all the time. Now, of course, the Spirit makes intercession for us and covers us where we may fall short. This is just more so heeding the Spirit when it communicates to you and knowing when to do what it's asking of you. You know, about to do something, the Spirit, because the Spirit will communicate and say, hey, pray. Gotta pray. All right, gotta heed the Spirit, man. All right, so we're moving on. All right, you said you got one, and we coming over here. Tazapah, we in with you, and then the brother has a spirit he wants to bring out, so we're going to focus on that, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Okay. More?
No.
Okay.
So come here.
All right. This is gonna be the book of This is the book of Psalms, chapter 111, and this is verse 7, and it says, "The works of his hands are verity and judgment. All his commandments are sure. They stand fast forever and ever, and are done in truth and uprightness. He sent redemption unto his people. He hath commanded his covenant forever. Holy and reverend is his name." All right, which I just brought this out because the Lord Yahweh Shemiah Shai, he has, of course, us standing, you know, obviously in this truth and this uprightness, and that's of a surety, you know, and straightness and equity. You know, that's what we have in, you know, the coverings of Yahweh Shemiah Shai. And the Lord has sent redemption to, of course, his people. The Lord does, like I said, we talking about the prayer and such, not quenching, of course, the spirit and such. And he said you have, like I said, you got different like judgments that the Lord have for. The Lord actually command for you to actually pray, because in one split moment, like I said, the Lord can change, you know, this, you know, your day. You know, as they say, boast not of yet of what tomorrow is not. Thou knowest not what, you know, will come forth. Roughly paraphrasing. So, you know, when the Lord Yahweh Shai is speaking, you have to, of course, take heed to their spirit, because, like this Lord says, it's here to tell you in Job, but the Lord speaketh once, was it man not perceived? These Lord speaketh twice. We gotta get that precept. It's in Job. But we gotta be looking and keeping in mind and considering what the Lord wants us to know. What the Lord wants us to do. And the Lord wants us to more be closer, because first of all, lifeline, what do you think you're gonna be in Jacob's trouble? You're gonna be calling on the Lord. that's pretty much Jacob's trouble. I'm gonna be calling on the Lord. You're gonna be calling on the Lord. Alright? And that's what the Lord wants us to do. Alright? Hey, stop. That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you got a lot of people saying, that they're saved. Hey, so if you're truly saved, then you won't have to call upon the Lord,
Right.
because you're already saved. Well, once Yahushua comes back, hey, these people who say they're saved, you don't gotta say nothing. When Yahushua comes back, you can just be like that, right? Like, man, everyone's gonna be called upon the Lord, man, in that day.
Yeah.
But what? The Lord's only gonna get the elect of the nation of
There's
Israel.
Matthew's, the 7th chapter. Not everybody that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom.
Yeah.
Got to seek the Lord early.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
That's why, these Christians have a nonchalant attitude. They feel like they can do whatever the hell they want, and then all of a sudden, they're able to say one, particular thing, and all of a sudden that absolves them. No, this is a mindset. This is a behavior. This is an attitude. This is a heritage. So this is something that we got to actively pursue to constantly, hopefully, be acceptable in the sight of our power. That's the severity. That's the seriousness of this thing. So, what do we got over here? Y'all good or?
Nah, I got one.
Okay, you got something?
I have something from earlier.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna move on to this brother, and then we're gonna finish off with whatever this brother's got. So we're gonna support the spirit with that message. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I want to say real quick. Someone in the world, they told me, oh yeah, I'm saved, blah blah blah. Then I said, okay, so when Yahushua comes back, what are you gonna say once Yahushua comes back? Yeah, nothing. I'm just gonna be like, waiting to come on.
They ain't gonna say nothing. That's crazy.
Like nothing. I'm just gonna wait till the Lord gets me up. Like you know how people love the bullshit. So it says John 10:1. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth. Oh yeah, this same chapter you're reading, but starting out the first verse. John 10:1. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. And we see Jake, man, won't want to live his own way, but like he still wants the Lord to have mercy upon him. He still wants the Lord to basically bring him into the fold. But to get into the sheepfold, you need to do what the other sheep are doing. Because what it says,
They follow the shepherd.
the same as a thief and a robber. Yeah, so if you want to come up some other way, you want to try to make your own quote unquote truth, then hey, you're a thief and a robber, because it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
you're thinking in terms of the quality of a thief and a robber, right?
Yeah,
It's deceptive.
gone.
So the attributes is deceptive. Not only are they deceiving themselves, they're deceiving others along the way.
Oh yeah.
That's why the scriptures say that if blind believers in the blind boy shall what?
One
Fall into the ditch.
There's only one way. You can't deviate from it. Yeah, that's a lot. Tazapah.
This is 2 Corinthians 5:13. For whether we be beside ourselves, it is to Yahweh B'Hashim Yahushai, or whether we be sober, it is for your cause. And when you look into it in Spanish, it actually tells you that you're crazy. Let's say you're supposed to be. That's why you don't see us out there partying like everybody else, and we're just trying to do something good.
Okay. You want to give us the Espanol version if you want.
Go.
I mean, even just your interpretation, just giving the sense, if you want us to say it in Spanish, yeah.
Hold it. I'll look into it.
Okay.
It's actually saying that if we look crazy, we're gonna be crazy. We're gonna look crazy
For the Lord.
for the Lord.
That's
Yep.
right. Because to this world, this is insane.
Yeah.
But you know what? We are saying to Yahweh.
Yeah. How many people roll up? No, I'm not. How many people roll up on a Saturday. This what y'all doing on a Saturday night? You don't got nothing to do. You don't got jobs. You don't got this. Like, bro, like, come on, really? all of a sudden,
Oh, you
all
guys
of a
got
sudden,
no life?
yeah, like we.
This is like.
Exactly. See, but they don't see it that way.
No.
They don't see it. They don't see it that way. But they're under false pretenses. They got all this stuff supposedly going for themselves, and yet they have a false insecurity, a false sense of hope. They don't know what's going on, but they try to pin it on us. It's a projection of their own, insecurity and damnation. At the end of the day, it's all damnation unto them.
And they're deceived.
They deceived.
They're deceived.
The deceived and deceiver are his.
That's right.
And they deceived. Somebody got to play that part, and that's the masses of the people. Slack.
No, you're right.
Go ahead.
I got something else to follow up. Wisdom of Solomon 5:2, and when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and they shall be amazed at the strangeness of their salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. Because they're gonna be claiming, okay, are those the ones that we call Negroes, Beaners, Hispanics, Speaks? Are they the ones that are getting saved? And they're gonna see it with terrible fear, knowing that they never did anything to accomplish what they were supposed to.
Because they called us crazy. But we are saying to the Lord.
Like I said, you want to say a few words in Espanol, you got Spanish brothers that go and watch. So, like I said, you don't have to read it, you just give the sense in Spanish.
Básicamente, cuando estemos siendo salvos, ellos van a estar sorprendidos porque siempre nos echaron de menos. Basically, they're just going to be surprised when they see us getting saved because they always played us out, if anything. They didn't think anything of us at all.
Right.
And they also won't know that if we got a power on our side that's coming to deliver us, the way they've been treating us all this time, they know they got judgment coming. So
Right.
they fear too.
Right, like the C.K. Lewis? I believe it was C.K. Lewis. He was telling a joke in the stand-up special talking about if you go back in any time, period, being a white man is great. You go back in any time and everything revolves around them. He goes, but I hate to see what the future looks like. Something to that effect.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
That was not exactly true, but Esau wasn't slavery.
No,
I guess he made talking about
that's
European.
right. It's obviously an exaggeration.
Right.
It's an exaggeration, but I mean, if we look at it, everything does revolve around Esau currently because it's his power structure. So there are things that he's able to get away with that the average Israelite could only dream of. I mean, let's face it, we are not charged the same. We are not looked at as the same, right? No matter how much Jake tries to emulate the Edomite, they are not going to benefit as an Edomite, no matter what they do. No matter how they assimilate or how much they assimilate, they're not going to be on the level of the Edomite. Okay? So that's the reality, we're going to change it up a little bit, Brother got something I believe he wants to bring out.
Yeah, it's not really big.
Okay.
Corinthians 2:10.
2 Corinthians 2:10. Brother, get that on deck.
It's goes in the sixth book, Satan Angels Exposed. Tells you page 171. Said the Fabian Society was a natural outgrowth of what John Ruskin had been promoting for years in England. John Ruskin, 1819 to 1900, taught at Oxford and advocated a utopian-style society. In one of his statements, he reveals his theory when he said, "My continual aim has been to show the eternal superiority of some men to others, sometimes even of one man to all others." That's from some type of dictatorship,
right?
Some type of world government. So, much of Ruskin's theories came from Plato. Apparently Plato, which we usually believe he's an Israelite, so-called black man, that was a philosopher. I believe one of his students was Aristotle, I believe, whom he worshipped. There is a remarkable parallel of his writing. So some of his ideas came from Plato. And we got 7 things here. So
right, can I say something on that?
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to it, every race of people wants to be the dominant race. That's just the reality. And so it has to fall on somebody. That idea exists for a reason. Right? It's all an idea of superiority. And the reality is Okay, that lot has fell on the Israelites based upon privilege, like I believe the elder brother out of the UK, Rekhaya Kwam, he went into the state of being highborn, which is representative of being born into royalty. The Israelite, a noble birth. We as the Israelites have been given the privilege of being born into nobility. And it's nothing that we did specifically, it was something that the Lord bestowed upon us. We are joint heirs with Yahweh Shai. So that idea exists, but it only belongs to a particular nation, which is the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and
Romans chapter 9.
So I just wanted to just add that point, brother, to that.
It's,
So, go ahead.
Yeah, so Plato necessarily didn't say all this stuff.
Right.
He just, the author just leading with Plato as an example. So 7 things here.
Because that idea of a noble race, right, of a superior race, always pretty much existed. It's just been kind of adopted from one nation to the next. But the reality is it does belong to somebody, and that's the Israelites.
It says 7 things here is the elimination of marriage in the family. So this is things that either Plato said or other people from his Mr. Ruskin's studies said. Not the elimination of the family, but I believe he advocated that women can become equal to men if they have more training. Right? That's one of the things he. One of his theories. They're philosopher, so they think about stuff. All right. Even it doesn't have to be true, but what the point is that they're studying the ancients and they're trying to bring forth currently things to break down the system, right? Making men women equal with men is one of them. So the elimination of marriage in the family, all women would belong to all men, meaning that's creating promiscuous sexual activity. Everybody's having sex with each other, so that's coming to pass. All men would belong to all women. Children resulting from these promiscuous unions would be taken over by the government. Well, they end up in jail, end up in youth programs, and being programmed by the government and becoming a state property. Children resulting from these promiscuous unions would be taken over by the government as soon as they were weaned. They would be raised anonymously by the state. All right, that's the extreme. All right, but right now, they're being raised by the state, by TV, public school systems. All right, so this is the agenda that Esau pushing forth to break down the system, to break down the normal nuclear family, so they can have control over them. So when it's time to put that implant in them, they'll easily accept it. Women would be equal with men, and that's through more training, education, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. With feminism, they give them training, education, so they become equal, more egalitarian, going far away from tradition. Women would be expected to fight in wars with men and perform labor like men. You can see that. It's not like the 20s when women weren't doing the same labor that men were doing. All right? So the point is they're bringing their plan to light. They planned it and then they're carrying it out. All right? Their agenda, selective breeding of men and women would take place under government control. Children considered inferior or crippled and breeding process would be destroyed. Right? So they can alter and tweak their plans as we move forward, but that's some of the ideas that's on Esau's mind to further take control of the populace. Somebody read 2 Corinthians 2.
2 Corinthians 2:10, it says, to whom he... Oh, you told me you saw 10 or just 11?
No, 2 and... let's say you get start from there.
10?
Let's say you get evangelist.
Oh, 11?
Yeah, what verse is that? 11?
Yeah, 11. Okay, 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, it says, lest saying should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
I look up devices, I believe it means purpose. Yeah, we're not ignorant of his devices.
Yeah.
So we know what Esau, well, you can read 10. Now I think about it. It talks about separating us.
Done.
Read 10.
This Second Corinthians 2:10, it says, to whom ye forgive anything, I forgive also. For if I forgave anything, to whom I forgave it.
Read 9.
Gone. 9. It says, for to this end also did I write, that I might know the proof of you, whether ye be obedient in all things. To whom ye forgive anything, I forgive also. For if I forgave anything, to whom I forgave it, for your sakes forgave it in the person of Hamashiach.
Right, Esau, he's about separation. He want to break your family up, break the things that are good. He want to break that up. He want to destroy it. Good.
Verse 11, least saying should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
All right, so we know exactly what Esau is doing because Esau, he tells on himself. He's so stupid that he'll tell you what he's going to do before he do it. All right, and that's some of the things I read. That's Esau's. He can change it up anytime and tweak it and say somebody else started it, and then they finish it and all that. Esau's he's a devil. He's a master, mistress of witchcraft.
Yeah, he got mocking rituals or whatever.
Humiliating.
Yeah.
Humiliation rituals. Yeah.
Basically, putting in people's faces what he's gonna do. People are still blind to it.
Yeah. But they have humiliation rituals too. They'll make a athlete entertainer like do something stupid or say something stupid. Just to that's the price they paid to whatever contract they signed in onto because they didn't want to be independent. They wanted to be. They wanted to get a boost, so they signed the deal.
It's a form of submittance. Submitting to them.
Yeah, they might try to do that to the and tape. If it's real, it could be all fake.
Well, no, yeah, he was. I heard he was already released.
He's already released.
Yeah, was already released.
Yeah, they could try to do that to him. Like that's a way that they could try to turn you.
Yeah.
They arrest you, put a bunch of charges on you,
Right.
and say, well, if you comply and do this, then we'll let you go. And they're gonna try to do the same thing to us.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, they're gonna come with the
Yeah, see if they can make
guns
a break.
and the mask, face cover, and all that, and recording everything.
I got 2 precepts.
Yeah.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, and verse 14. It says, "The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit."
Yeah. So we saw he even though he's wiser than Daniel, he gonna make mistakes.
Yep.
Right? And the wild card is the prophets can be raised up in any location on the earth and given power to go out and preach and expose Esau. And that's what's being done.
Yes. America is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. This place is definitely perverted the righteous way. Allowing women to become equal men, putting them in the workforce, putting them in a position of power. All of that has essentially worked against society, and you can see the total collapse and dilapidation of structure because of it. So they've totally erred in their way. They got a second one, real quick. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1. "But at the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief." So essentially, the reason why I'm bringing this out is, we're measuring the times diligently. Everything is being filtered through prophecy from the works that Esau is trying to promote throughout the earth and the way he's trying to move his kingdom. And, in conjunction with that, we recognize that the Lord has an agenda as well. So, even though he's working towards these things, at the end of the day, Esau is subject to Yahweh Shah. So we're putting our sights on the coming of the Lord and getting ourselves and ready and prepared for his coming, knowing that all these things are coming to pass. Okay? One last one says, "Ye are the children of the light," meaning we represent the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding on the earth. The Lord has imparted on us certain levels of understanding to give to the rest of the Israel, whether they hear, whether they forbear. Okay, so that's that's the hopeful part that we play, right? And the children of the day, we are not of the night nor of darkness. So, we're not as others who are putting off that day through our ignorance, which many are going to end up inevitably being put to death, or will be put to death for that, through that ignorance. not taking heed and cleaning themselves and ordering their house aright, you know, establishing themselves in the faith and in the word of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. So that's all I have.
A little quick article about Andrew Tate. The latest issue from Fox News, 10/24, December 31st. Romanian court extends Andrew Tate detention over human trafficking and rape charges. Andrew Tate will remain in jail for 30 days amid charges of rape and human trafficking. So he got to stay in jail for 30 days. Court date.
Yeah, Lee's brother got out, I believe.
What, Tristan? Yeah.
One more. Yeah, so I mean, again, that is gonna happen to us. They're gonna accuse us of something. They're gonna put charges on us. We'll have all the evidence gathered or not.
Yeah, you gotta remember, for them to detain, for them to detain you, all they need is an accusation.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, especially in Romania, they got different like laws and all that. They got, in America, they at least gonna have probable cause, but overseas, it don't matter. They can make up any fucking.
Right, well, because in the day that we're talking about, they're not gonna give us no just due. That's the thing, we're not no due process, no habeas corpus. They're gonna take that away.
Yeah, just like 9/11.
Yeah, they're gonna take that shit away. They ain't gonna give us any of that. It's really is going to be dependent on Yahweh Shem Yahshua whether or not we get released.
That's what the Patriot Act and all that was about, the National Defense Authorization Act, to apprehend, you know, suspects, you know, without like the courts and all that, or due process. And I got one more quick one. It says, Six Angels Exposed, page 165. If you carefully read, and they get this from the dude Salem Kirby got it from Ezekiel 38, I think, or 37. It says, if you carefully read current news events and see alignment of nations, it is not hard to understand that the Third World War could be between the forces united with Israelis against the forces united with communism and Islam. Now you see it with the God and Magog, Russia. They get you got it from Ezekiel 30th chapter, to act as a guard unto them. So that's what's going down. The Russians are aligning themselves with let's say the Arab world, or they say Islam in the book. That's going to be against, you know, different European powers in America, and that's going to be what the Third World War is going to be fought for. All right, and it's going to be over. Might be a land dispute. Might be an accusation of you were about to attack me first, so I want to attack you.
Right.
You know, could be or a rogue nuclear program. It could be anything.
Right. Like if I may say,
like Israelis have a rogue nuclear program, but they don't have to officially announce that they have.
Exactly. Just to give a little bit more on that is you got the BRICS nations, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, but you have a lot of nations that are applying to be a part of that conglomerate, right? Which would actually include Iran and many other nations. Because remember, that's a response to NATO
expansion.
Yeah. So they're trying to fight back with building a agreements and they're developing agreements and all that between themselves as a response to NATO, you know, against the American global hegemon and power structure. So, you know, that's these different agreements you see going on and deals going on and alliances. That's actually the word I want to use. The different alliances that you see going on is all a combination of prophecy. The Lord is spearing up through the angels, mustering up the host of the battle, preparing those nations for war. That's essentially what's happening right now. So everybody's choosing sides.
And they shall hate the horde of 10 horns.
That's right. So even America's own allies, you know, those that
even though they still agree on certain things,
right.
But you know, it's going to spiral out of control.
Yep.
Their loyalty is going to go to their own country.
That's right.
Eventually, but you know, right now they still act like they like each other and all that.
Right.
Well, not all. Well,
Well, France right now is speaking against
Greece.
America because of the situation going on with Russia and Ukraine. So-called President Macron. So, you know, you're seeing those alliances.
Yeah, Turkey and Greece.
Yeah.
They're NATO allies.
Yeah.
They hate each other.
Right. Well, how about Brexit? Great Britain. Brexit. Great Britain
Oh,
exiting
yeah,
the
yeah,
EU.
yeah.
That system is essentially breaking down.
Yeah, it's been bad.
You know, so we're seeing all those things. Essentially, we're seeing all those things fall apart. All those unions, right? Everybody that once had an alliance or an agreement with the beast, it's all falling apart because they're all being prepared for war. Essentially, you know, it's going to culminate to the day of the Lord, which He's
Yeah,
going
and you're just gonna keep faking it until,
Yeah, yeah,
until the
yeah.
Lord say, you know what, they gotta.
right. Because it's all going to be the Spirit of the Lord, right? Because even if they don't want to fight, the Lord going to put the Spirit in them to do so.
Second Ezra, that's
Yeah.
11, right?
13, yeah,
So,
Well, again, Revelation, the 18th chapter or 17th chapter,
17.
these 10 shall hate the Lord.
kind of, yep.
As we get in there, that's enough. And well, ended on Esau coming like a flood, that's 59. That's very 59, you know. But hate the whore.
That proves, I'm sorry, Elder. That proves that we're not we're not saved yet. Because the scriptures is certain things that didn't come to fruition yet, right? The flood, you know.
There you go. All right, read Revelation.
Revelation 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire.
Yeah, so eventually those European powers, those 10 horns are the different European powers,
Right.
right? Allied with America.
Yep.
So eventually they're gonna take the war to America, which they're gonna use their nuclear arsenal to destroy Babylon, America. All right.
Yeah, and can we find I believe France, they're both part of the EU and NATO, no?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
So that's heavy
yeah.
because they, like I said, they speaking out against this whole situation right now because they've been called upon to help ally and aid America in this whole Russia-Ukraine conflict. That's powerful because we've seen those types of situations happen where these nations are now getting mad, you know, openly. Oh, even if they were behind closed doors, they're now openly saying things. It's very powerful, man. I remember Elder Apostle Tahar recommended that brothers watch that 10-minute video entitled Help Macron, something, something, something. If I have an opportunity, I'm going to share it with the brothers. But yeah, man, so we're seeing those things come to light, man. It's a manifestation of prophecy. Because the 10 horns, remember, they represent the economic side of things, the EU. You know, you had the original 10 vassal states. You know, it's grown since then, you know, but yeah. EU.
27,
Yeah. European Union. Go ahead. That's part of the beast system. Add the beast system. You have the NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and then you have the economic side, which is the EU, which would represent the 10 horns. So.
I get
No, there was more on that, right now? We read all that?
with 17 done.
That's mine.
Keep going, 17.
Read it again.
Burning.
Con. Revelation 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore,
Right, the whore represents America. Okay. Go ahead.
and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire.
And the fire is going to come in the way of thermonuclear destruction, like the brother said. Those ICBM missiles, hypersonic missiles, okay, their nuclear arsenal. It's going to be a nuclear exchange on all sides. America launching their missiles against Russia, Russia launching their missiles against America, and all of the once allied nations to America are also going to partake in that. They're going to exchange their nuclear missiles as well. Okay? I think we got the meat of that bone.
I get Isaiah 59.
Lift up the standard.
Is that 59:19 or?
Yeah.
Isaiah 59, verse 19.
No, brother, read it. It's not. Read it.
Con, Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun.
The west is here, America.
When the
The
enemies,
rising sun is in the east, like that's Japan. That would be the all east.
when the enemy shall come like a flood, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him.
Flood, the spirit of the Lord. So when Esau, tries to attack the prophets of the Lord, Yahweh Shai going to endow the prophets with spiritual power. Right?
Yeah.
And that spiritual power is the same thing that Yahweh Shai promises. He said, even greater works than these. So that's a fact. So we just got to believe. We don't have to really concentrate really hard. Is the Lord going to give it to whoever He will? Because it tells you that prophets, when the disciples that became apostles, the cloven tongues of fire came down. Right? It said it fell on them suddenly. So look that up, that word suddenly up, cloven tongues of fire. They were Pentecost, I believe, or Passover.
Acts 2, man.
It said it suddenly fell upon them, the cloven tongues of fire. They weren't doing anything, they were just, they were celebrating the Passover, or Pentecost, I forget which holy day it was.
Acts 2 and 2.
Yep.
I'll read that.
Yes.
Look at the word suddenly.
Read the verse.
Yeah, read the verse first so you can provide more context.
Gone. Acts 2 and 2. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting.
So suddenly.
Yeah, the suddenly is apno for the Greek. It says suddenly, unexpectedly, unawares.
Unexpectedly unaware. So they received power suddenly unaware. So they didn't really have a choice in the matter. It just happened. So we don't have power to it's Yahweh Shai's will. It's not our will.
Who has resisted His will?
Huh.
Resist the Lord.
Let me say, because that proved that Apostle Rama always say that. He said the spirit of the wind, the spirit of Yahweh Shai is in the wind. So it jumps on certain brothers.
Right.
Like you can get a thought. That's why you say you gotta hit the high and fast to get that video done, or it jump to another brother. So that spirit is out there, and that's power. That's power right there. Because I could be thinking about something. Next thing you know, another brother's doing it. The spirit of Yahweh Shai is alive, man.
Yeah, when the spirit came over Samson, get that to find that's another good point.
Yeah.
They were in the midst of whatever they were doing, and it just forcefully came on.
Woo!
So at times the spirit would move across Samson. Just give me the account. And that'll be it for me. So that's another good point.
Yeah, because
The spirit move. Well, you said that the spirit don't know which way it's coming.
it did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
His spirit's like a wind.
The spirit like the wind. That's what Apostle Rama always say that. Like the spirit like the wind. It could go. He said hit the iron wires hot.
That spirit move.
Yeah, do the video fast. You got the thought, do it, but write it down so you can get it done. And then if you don't do it, it'll jump on another brother. It was really the spirit. That's power. Like Apostle Gabal always say, that's power.
All right, read that.
So
Con. This Judges 13 and 24. And the woman bare a son and called his name Samson, and the child grew, and the Lord Yahweh blessed him. Verse 25. And the spirit of the Lord Yahweh began to move him at times in the camp of Dan between Zorah and Eshtaol.
But I want to account where he moved on. That's the same that he was going to get it. But there are at least one account where it said it came on him and he just started. I believe when he beat him with the jawbone of the ass. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, I got it.
It might have been before that. I'm not sure.
You sure you got it?
Judges 14:6.
Yeah, I mean, I got it too.
So read both of them. You got two different accounts. But I just want to make the point that the spirit just comes on you unexpectedly.
Yeah.
That's the point. But read both of them.
God, it says Judges 14 and 6, and the spirit of the Lord Yahweh came mightily upon him.
Read a verse up.
God. Verse 5, then went Samson down and his father and his mother to Timnath, and came to the vineyards of Timnath, and behold, a young lion warred against him. Verse 6, And the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh came mightily upon him.
Yeah, so he was in danger, and immediately the angels came down and defended him immediately. So there you go. That was automatic. Yeah. I'm sure they prayed, or he might not have had time to pray. This happened to him suddenly. And then the Spirit came and immediately helped him.
Wow.
As soon as the lion came up, he might not even have time to even pray. It just happened quick. Because the Lord, the angel go before us to fight anyway, before we even had think a thought.
Wow.
So is that done? Or read it again, the verse.
God. Verse 6, and the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid.
Yeah.
And he had nothing in his hand, but he told not his father or mother what he had done.
All right. I think David was doing stuff like that too. When he was young. What you got, Mark?
This is in the same chapter, 19 verse. If you want to read it.
Go to 19 verse. Yeah, go to 19 verse. Come
Oh. It says, so Judges 14:19, it says, and the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh came upon him.
Read verse up.
Oh, come.
Philistines or?
And I'm gonna say this: these are not ordinary men. It's reminiscent of the elect. This ain't gonna just be for any old body.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
they gonna be hard. I'm kind of sure you can't be gonna die there. If you ain't gonna be elect.
God. This is Judges 14:18. And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day before the sun went down, what is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion?
Oh, the riddle. Okay, go ahead. Yep.
And he said unto them, if ye had not plowed my heifer,
His wife.
ye had not found my riddle. Verse 19. And the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh came upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon, and slew 30 men of them, and took their spoil, and gave change of garments unto them which expounded the riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house.
Yeah, so that was, he could have ran in a Philistine marketplace and killed, and then, because those are brothers he killed. He killed one set of Philistines to go get changes of clothes or whatever the items was to the other group was. So that could have been the marketplace he went down to, or yeah, by a marketplace or a village or a city. And the Spirit of the Lord came across him. Right? So that's the power that the elect have with Yahushua. Right? And the Lord knows when we need the help. So this is why we don't have power, that spiritual power right now, because we don't really need the help right now. But when that time comes, that's when we really gonna need it. Right? If we're, His chosen.
I'll represent.
Yeah. So that's
All right.
my spirit.
All right, so with that, we hope you were edified. We want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakakadash.
Of course, giving double honors unto our apostles and this great millstone. Hearty shalom to all the hopeful elect scattered abroad the four winds of the earth.
Shalom.
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 Ba ba ba.
Ba ba ba.
Shalom.
Mashallah.